Good afternoon and welcome to Yorktown High School. Senator Ball, we are very proud to display this traveling wall that honors the military's best. Mrs. Siegel, we are honored to recognize Sergeant McQuillan, a Yorktown resident. Supervisor Grace, we are pleased to have you here to honor our armed forces through one of the 40th District's representatives, Sergeant McQuillan. Yesterday, we celebrated the birthday of one of America's leaders in civil rights, Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King once said, "Everybody can be great because everyone can serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." And today, we are going to honor somebody for a very special form of service. Our country was founded on the great principles of liberty, justice, and freedom for all. However, our country was not content to reserve these principles for its own countrymen. Instead, it called men and women to service to ensure that these principles existed for humankind the world over. And so, Sergeant McQuillan, Yorktown Central School District salutes you for your love of country, your love of its principles, and your service to the people of Vietnam. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our high school principal, Mr. Joseph DiGennaro.
Thank you, Dr. Napolitano, and welcome Senator Ball to Yorktown High School. It's an absolute honor and pleasure for me to introduce to you our choir director of Yorktown High School, Mr. Tom Arduini. Thank you.
Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Awesome job. Well done. Awesome job.
Excellent. Thank you for giving one more round of applause. That's terrific. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Senator Ball.
Thank you. John, you want to just show me up here? Well, I just want to thank you all for coming out, but most certainly to the guys and gals behind me. It's awesome to see these amazing faces. And we're here to honor John and all of our community heroes. Gene's here as well, who's also on the wall behind us. But you know, we live in a time, in a country, which is the greatest country that the world has ever known. But if you put on TV, depending upon what channel you're on, you may not know it. And we live in a world now where we pay homage to a lot of false idols, from Hollywood to New York. And I ask that each and every one of you, first, thank you for being here and help me honor John and all the members are on this wall. But the special thing about having it at this school, and I thank you each from the bottom of my heart for being one of the first schools to step up to the plate and to have this traveling wall. Because as the young leaders go by and they read these bios, it is amazing. You know, there are men and women, first, that are on this wall who didn't make it back. They gave their lives for this great country, and who will always have an empty seat at the table for Thanksgiving and Christmas, who left families behind that love them and cherish them dearly, and will be always dealing with that unexplainable loss, how that must crush them each and every day. And then there are those who did make it back, but unfortunately, like John, right? But unfortunately came back and left comrades behind. And that will always be on their heart. And if you read these bios, they have gone through enormous, enormous tests that would crush and break most people. So I thank you. I thank the school for coming together and making this happen. I see the young leaders that are watching us now that are taking it extremely seriously, and I thank you for having this in your school. But John is just such a special man. And you know, the thing about veterans is whether they serve 1 year, whether they serve 20 or 25 years, the reality is that John personifies your typical veteran. He is seen at nearly every single community event. He represents and is the personification in the town of Yorktown of the greatness of the veteran community, that they serve in uniform, they raise their right hand, they're willing to fight and die for the United States of America. There's no doubt that the vast majority of veterans, probably all of them, would throw that uniform back on. Some of us may have a hard time fitting into that uniform, including me, but we would put it back on if we were called. But they put on their civvies every day, and they go into the community, and they work every day with that concept of public service that Martin Luther King and John and folks in between personify, and they work to make their community a better place. And I want to thank John from the bottom of my heart. And John, I know you don't like to talk that much, and you're a very humble man, but if you wouldn't mind, and thank you for once again, for everything you have always done for this country.
I just want to thank Senator Greg Ball for this great honor, and I also want to thank the town of Yorktown for honoring me, and the staff from the Yorktown High School having there. I also want to thank our commander of the American Legion back there, Ms. Al Lockman, and the American Legion for giving me this great honor. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Supervisor Gray? Supervisor Gray.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to tell you, as supervisor-elect, one of the first things I did was watching the Veterans Day Parade in Shrub Oak. And I sat there and contemplated my recent election to office, and I thought to myself, there is no greater honor for me at that point than to honor these guys that have given so much. And I think this is fantastic, Greg. This is. I think everyone has to kind of viscerally understand what these guys do and the sacrifice they make for us. And I applaud the school for having this, because I think it's very important for our young kids these days, especially high school kids. You know, in that age of 16 and after that, you know, there's limited opportunities out there right now, but there are so many opportunities to give service. And I'm going to tell you, the service that I do at a public service, and the service that Greg Bowles does, the service that politicians do, means nothing without these guys. These guys are the backbone of our freedoms. They are here. What they do for us is beyond words. And I ask your children in the schools here. They may not have to do the service that these guys do, but there is plenty of service to be done in our community. And I take this opportunity to reach out and encourage volunteerism in our community. The greatest homage you can pay these guys back, and the best respect and the thanks that you can give these guys, is go out into your community and begin to serve. These guys, you should respect them, show them your love, and the best way you can do that, I think, is through community service. Go out there, make these guys proud, because we're damn proud of them. Thank you.
Sure. Terrence, Nick, you want to come forward? And I do want to thank Dr. Napolitano. I got to tell you, the events that you have in this school district, and I have there are a lot of schools in the 40th Senate District, and what you do to involve the children in the community and the efforts that you have done are really, truly head and shoulders above. So I just met the principal today, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. But seriously, a round of applause for you.
I just want to say thank you to Senator Ball for doing this. This is something that really is really great. I really appreciate you doing this because, as Mike had said, it's the young kids. It's not us. It's the young kids we're trying to show what this country is all about. And I think by having something like this is that we learn. And I think that's a great thing. And I want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations, John. Well deserved. Well deserved. And this wall of honor is just the epitome of what these guys deserve, respect, honor, and as we have these young future leaders coming up behind us, if we can emulate anything what these guys can do, we'll all be proud.
Got big shoes to fill.
And thank you, Dr. Napolitano.
Well, thank you, everybody, for taking the time. God bless. Thank you. Everybody hold it. Grace, hold on there like you're having fun. There we go. Okay.
Are we ready?
Okay, we got to count to 3. Wait.
Okay.
We'll look. Okay, then we'll do, when I count to 3, we'll cut it. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to clap. Happy birthday!
Thank you very much. Probably the best rendition on here today of that song. My family can't sing. Thank you very much.
Having fun? Good?